Well, hello out there to my audience. I'd like to welcome you to Is Your Way in Your Way? And I am your host. My name is Cassandra Crawley Mayo. And yes, I'm the individual who empowers women to achieve their full potential. And I always talk about are we living our best life on our terms? And for me, that's not a cliche. But for many people, they're like, yeah, we've heard that before. But if I gave you a scale from 1 to 10 and ask you to score yourself, 10 being the highest, where would you score yourself in living your best life on your terms? So I would tell you this: living your life on your best terms is living in a way that maximizes your, what I call your personal happiness, your authenticity and fulfillment, or are you just going through the motions? And I like to talk about topics related to personal and self improvement. And today we are talking about a topic titled, You're Not Stuck, You're Just Out of Alignment. And I have a special guest today that's going to talk about that. And I always ask women, are you in your way? And Heike addresses. I've been through this before, guys. So just a minute. She'll correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that. She addresses, I would think, one of the most common barriers midlife women face: the beliefs that it is too late, too hard, or too selfish to prioritize themselves. So she dismantles the cycle of trying and quitting, which is often rooted in shame, perfectionism, and internalized expectations. So let me introduce you to Heike Yates, and she will correct me. And she's already told me how to pronounce her name. But for your listeners, sometimes I get it mixed up and messed up. So Miss Yates and Mrs. Yates, how do you pronounce your first name?
You did such a beautiful job, Cassandra. It is Heike, just like you said it. Most people struggle a little bit with it, and it comes all kinds of things, including Heidi. But
Right.
you just had a guest on that was called Heidi. So,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
so no, it's Heike. So, like you pronounced it beautifully.
Okay,
Thank you so much
great.
for the
Thank
introduction.
you. Now, before we get started, I'd like to read a little bit of your bio because my audience would like to know what qualifies her for this. Like, who is she? So I'm gonna read a little bit. You are a midlife fitness expert. You're the author of Pursue Your Spark. You're the creator of the Spark Framework with over 35 years of experience in fitness, nutrition, and mindset coaching. You help midlife women stop dimming their light and rebuild strength, energy, and confidence without extremes, guilt, or starting over. So, after you navigated, I really want to hear about this one, seasons of single motherhood, financial struggle, and personal reinvention, you turn movement into your anchor and mission. As the founder of Pursue Your Spark and host of the Pursue Your Spark podcast, you blend science, lived experience, and compassion to help women move from survival mode into clarity, strength, and self-fulfillment. Wow, wow. That's I'm telling you, 35 years experience. And let me ask you this, Hiking. You One of the things you said that struck me was you were a single mom. You raised two kids on a $300 monthly income. How in the world did you overcome that? Oh my gosh.
We ate a lot of lasagna,
Uh-huh.
a
Okay.
lot of pasta
Uh-huh.
with tomato sauce. You
Oh
know,
my.
it's I didn't think about when I decided that I wanted to get divorced about the financial consequences. It really didn't dawn on me that I needed to have better planning and better future planning in
Mm-hmm.
place instead of just saying, "Hey, I don't love you anymore. I want a divorce." It never occurred to me that this has consequences, not
Oh,
only emotional but also financial consequences.
yeah. Yeah.
And teaching aerobics classes back then, I think it paid like 6.25 before taxes an hour. So you have
Mm.
to teach a lot of aerobics classes
Mm.
to make some money.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's, I said, okay, so now I made the decision, now figure out a way to do that. And after about a year and a half, my then ex-husband, he finally started paying child support. And
Okay.
then at some point he started paying alimony. So a lot of
Okay.
what I purchased came on my credit card. And
Mm.
I just started paying my credit cards off. And we
Mm.
lived very, very frugal. My son, who's
Wow.
now a dad himself, he says, Mom, I sometimes wonder how you made this all happen.
I
How
know.
did you how did you put food on the table? How did you put clothes on? And how did you do, pay the rent over our head and all the
Mm.
things we were doing? And we never took any vacations.
Uh-huh.
That was
Yeah.
picnic in the garden or a walk in the woods or a hike, but
Wow.
we didn't do anything extravagant. And I was just very, very frugal with our expenses. That's what
Wow.
it came down to. And as the realization set in that I'm only having so much money, boy, was I, after getting a full-time job that had
Yeah.
health insurance
Uh,
and became a full-time job where I could earn money in addition to what my job was. So that
okay.
was lit a fire
Okay.
under my buttski.
I bet. So it sounds like you were doing fitness when you were with your husband. Where did
I
that come from?
That started after my oldest, who's now 30, how old is he now? 38,
Uh-huh.
37, was born. And I had gained 50 pounds and had no idea how to lose all that weight
Oh,
because
wow.
I just didn't know. Like so many
Mhm.
of us, we don't know how to get in shape, how to get stronger, how to perhaps lose
Mhm.
weight.
Mhm.
And I didn't either because when I grew up, my parents didn't exercise. None of my friends exercised at that point until I
Mhm.
was part of a group of moms that one of them in particular went to the local YMCA here in, well, almost Silver Spring. It was in Chevy Chase, close by.
Uh-huh.
And we went to the local church and we started taking, and people who are about my age will say, I remember dancercise. This was chor- choreographed music, which now you
Yeah.
can compare to with jazzercise.
Mhm.
But that
Mhm.
that was it was dancercise with a little bit of weights and ab work at the end.
Mm.
And
Wow.
it was so much fun.
Mhm.
And my first husband, my then husband said, "Oh, this is great for you. Keep going." And I
Yeah.
was like, "I don't know." I mean, they had childcare, so I could bring my son. But then they asked me to become a teacher. And that's when I said, no, 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 I'm not doing that.
Oh. Oh.
I'm not teaching like Jane Fonda in front of everybody
Yeah.
else.
Uh-huh.
That's not my thing. And he says, it'd
Mhm.
be great for you. Just go. It's,
Yeah.
basically have me out of the house.
Oh, and that's something. And so
And
that's what you started doing.
that's what I started doing. That's what the catalyst was
Mhm.
to the way into my fitness industry.
Mm. There was something else you mentioned. First of all, when you made the decision that you wanted to divorce your husband, you didn't think about the impact as far as financial, all of that. But I'm saying this because I have listeners who are stuck, you know, um, in a way that is um, which I call self-imposed barriers. And you and I, we're going to talk about that. But there's certain things, and I think in the beginning I talked about, you know, maximizing your life for personal reason, personal happiness, authenticity, and fulfillment. And what I heard you say is you were not happy in your relationship. And I'm not saying this for everybody on a listening to say, oh, okay, that's what I've been thinking all along. I'm not happy in my relationship, so I'm going to leave it. But there was a determining factor, and you talked about freedom, fulfillment. So what was it about that relationship that you just had to get out? What was it? What wasn't it doing for you, or was doing to you?
When I thought about my husband and I were 17 years of age apart,
Mm-hmm.
and we had different goals in life.
Mm-hmm.
He was ready to retire and he was looking in Annapolis, this was just near where I live, to buy a house on the water and just sit there in the rocking chair and have a whiskey and let life just
Okay.
be. And I
Okay.
was 30. I was like at the prime. I just had my second child. I'm like, let's go. They're getting older. Let's do
Yeah.
things. Let's
Yeah.
travel. Let's explore the world. Let's
Okay.
be active. And it just didn't fit anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
and it was, people said, oh, it was because he was older. And it definitely was not that. It was
Mm-hmm.
really about the incompatibility that
Mm-hmm.
many of us reach with our partners at some stage in our lives. And we
Right.
went to counseling,
Mm-hmm.
and the counselor said, so here, tell me about this, tell me about that. And he was talking about it. And I just looked at her and I said, you know, I don't love him anymore. And I
Mm.
do not want this life.
Okay. Okay. So you made a
And
decision.
I made a choice that
Yes.
this, because we all have choices. I could have chosen to try to work it out,
Mm-hmm.
but we already had been for a year where we were separate,
Mm-hmm.
doing our separate things a little bit and slept in
Mm-hmm.
separate bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't want this. And when I think back of why I came to the United States, it was not because I got a great job at the foreign service, but I wanted that freedom. I wanted the freedom to explore, to be curious, which is what I talk about in my book, the
Uh-huh.
curiosity that brings us this fulfillment that we may or may not be looking for, which just happens because we follow our heart, we follow our desire, not being
Mhm.
foolish like Heike was, where
Yeah.
she's like, I'm just done. I would not recommend it.
Yes.
But
Right.
but we can
Yeah.
have a clear picture of the consequences of our choices.
Sure. 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 That's good. Okay. All right. So that fulfillment and that happiness and all of that, you made a choice that that's where you wanted to be.
Hmm.
And I mention that too because, in other words, as I always say, is your way in your way. That's the title of my book. So as
Uh-huh.
you went through all of this, you were like, yeah, I'm not going to be in my way and sacrifice my happiness and my fulfillment. Wow, good for you. You also became self-employed in 2012. Okay. So prior to that, what were you doing? Because being self-employed is courage.
Hard. Hard. It's
Oh my
hard.
gosh. Yeah. So, what were you doing prior to being self-employed?
I was working initially, I started just teaching classes all over the place. Anybody who needed a teacher or a
Okay.
trainer, I would
Uh-huh.
work for any health club here in the Washington, D.C. area that I could get to and physically could handle it anymore because I taught so many classes. And that
Mm-hmm.
brought me to the stage two where I said, I can only physically teach so many classes. And I started to supplement my income through personal training, where I coach people and I don't have to do anything physically.
Uh-huh.
So that was the adding on revenues. Like I invented Pilates with Resistible,
Yeah.
and that became a revenue stream where I would go out on the weekends to health clubs and would
Mm-hmm.
teach their coaches and trainers how
Mm-hmm.
to use the ball for strength training, teach Pilates on the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and do these things. And again, to have an extra revenue stream coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
doing all this was so hard. It was so much work. You're
Mm-hmm.
constantly on the go. When I didn't have the kids on the weekends, I would travel. I would drive to North Carolina and teach a couple of
Right.
clubs
Yeah.
down there and
Mm-hmm.
go back Monday morning to the club I was working here. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was said, you know what? When I go to all these places, they have their own little thing. You have to wear their uniform with their logo on it. You have to teach their way. They have
Mm-hmm.
their protocol, which is totally fine because it's their facility. But I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't foresee this is how I want it. I want it differently than what they're all doing. And I want to
Mm,
not grow bigger, which was my first thought, which is everything you think, oh, I'm opening a big studio and I have all this. But the
uh-huh.
damper, I got the damper from the realtor I was talking to and trying to get a
Mhm,
loan for a bigger space to
mhm.
call my home. And he just laughed right in my face. And he said, so what are your assets? Your 35 clients?
Oh, wow.
And
Oh,
I mean, I was so embarrassed. And I said, yes. He says, do you not have any other teachers? Do you have equipment? Do you have anything? And I said, no, I don't. He's like, nobody's going to give you a loan.
mm,
And that
okay.
literally shut me down.
Okay.
And I
All
said,
right.
well, I guess this is that. I don't have any, I don't have any followers like other teachers that teach for me. And I just went back to working for other places, but more concise. I worked for a studio in Silver Spring. I'm sorry,
Mhm,
in DC. And then I ventured out closer to where I'm now in Silver Spring in
mhm,
Bethesda. And there was a fitness Pilates studio. And I
mhm.
set up my 2 camps there, which was more manageable than going all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And
Mhm,
then in 2012, right
mhm.
after a snowstorm, my second husband and I were looking for a place that we would call our home.
Okay.
And we looked in everywhere, Bethesda and Chevy Chase. So these are all places, guys, that are around Silver Spring, which is near Washington, D.C.
Uh-huh.
And we found a house in Silver Spring.
Mhm.
And nobody else showed up because it was a snowstorm.
Uh-huh.
And we walked in, and I called my studio the formerly known garage, like it's an artist, the formerly known garage.
Uh-huh.
My husband walked in and said, there's your studio. We're buying this house. It
Oh,
had
wow.
the garage already finished with a waiting area, a bathroom, and a big area where I could put all the equipment that I had bought and stored places.
Mhm, mhm.
And it was separate from the house. So nobody would go in my house, which I value very much. I like my privacy.
Wow. Yes.
And he said, we're buying this house. There's your studio. Cassandra, I was like, no, no, no. I'm not sure if I can do this right now.
Yeah, exactly. It just fell in your lap.
It fell in my lap.
Mhm,
And I remember one person that I started with, Erica. I said,
mhm.
how did you find me? And she says, oh, I Googled and you're in my neighborhood. She was my very first client. And when you come from all these well-to-do clubs and studios and they got D-dots and all the schnicky schnacks,
Yep.
and I didn't. I was very basic. Here's the workout. I painted everything, decorated it. And she says, you should be proud of yourself. Look at how
Mhm,
great the space is. And
mhm.
I did not see that it was that great. It was the formerly known garage to me that I
Yeah.
pepped up. And she
Wow.
says, it's private. People will love it. You have everything a studio needs to help people get stronger, healthier, more flexible. She said,
Mm.
be proud of yourself.
Wow. Wow. It's like it was meant to be. And I loved it because there's a saying when the student's ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah.
Although you were like, this is too much, blah, blah, blah. And then all these self-imposed barriers, like, you probably were doubting, probably a lot of things were going on in your mind about this this studio that just fell in your lap. That is amazing. That is amazing. Now, now we talked about your midlife, what I would call the midlife fitness expert. Now, I want to talk about midlife. First of all, what is midlife? What does that mean? Is that an age, a mindset, or what is that?
Well, when I wrote my book for women in midlife, one of my
Uh-huh.
friends who also had written a book a couple of years ago, she said, well, you're going to be 64. And that was last year when I published my book. She says, you're no longer midlife. You should have written your book for the matron. And I was in shock. And I say, well, what? Matron? Like, how old is that? And when
Right.
you're all the matriarchs, the maiden, the mother,
Right.
and so on. And I said, you know what? To me, midlife starts at 40 and goes till at least at this point till 80. And here's how I think. Most people think of midlife 50,
Uh-huh.
menopause. It's like
Okay.
clear cut, that's where we are with midlife.
Yeah.
But women have become so much more vocal, outgoing, adventurous. There's so many women who start new careers and new adventures in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s. And I
Mhm.
feel that at 40 is when most women have raised their kids, at least mostly,
Uh-huh.
that they're may
Uh-huh.
not be quite empty nesters, but they're already starting with the empty nesting idea that kids go to college or go away from home. They already may deal with parents that are aging, that
Yep.
already encroach on our space
Okay.
where need to be we are the sandwich generation in my mind. And this is already where we feel that things are changing, that we need to make choices at that point, from
Mhm.
being an almost empty nester, maybe then going forward to going through menopause, then
Mhm.
going forward to finishing a career. Do I
Mhm.
want to retire or do I want to do something else?
Yes. Right.
And so we have these choices. And that to me is midlife is 40 to 80. And the
Hmm.
person who instigated the book, the idea came from one of my clients who's 80.
Isn't that
So,
nice? And an active client, I should say.
yeah,
That's
there.
that's great. That's great. Um, wow. I'm glad you said that because I remember when I turned 40, I started getting AARP magazines, and I really had an attitude like, why am I getting this? This is for old people, So for you to say that, um, now, do you think also midlife? Let's talk about the mindset and the midlife because you're a midlife fitness expert. And there was a reason. First of all, you were motivated for this fitness thing when you had gained weight after you had a child. So that was motivation. And then when your husband said, "This is the house, that's the garage," you're like, "Wow, okay, I'm on to something." And then, so you had a client, the 80-year person, and then you didn't tell me how old the first client was, but why did you start focusing more on midlife
I
fitness?
feel personally, and my book is a lot about stories about my experiences, what I think, and those of my clients. I feel personally that every 10 years I go through a change.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, let's not even talk about midlife crisis because we don't have a crisis. Somebody
Okay.
called it to be a crisis, which it's not. It's a reinvention, it's a becoming of yourself, it's a
Mm-hmm.
moving out of um, who you're supposed to be in different roles in life. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's not necessarily anything dramatic, but it's when I think in my 30s, this is when I wanted my divorce. This is when I wanted my freedom.
Mm-hmm.
When I muddled through all of that in my 40s, I wanted to be a bodybuilder, fitness competitor, wanted to do crazy races like marathons and
Uh-huh.
ultra marathons. So I had my fitness route that was my focus,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and so on. And now I'm going to be 65 this year, and I have a a different idea of what my next until 70 should look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of women do that and they just don't realize it. They get unsettled. They get
Mm-hmm.
in their way, as you say,
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
not recognizing that something has changed. It doesn't have to be dramatic, guys. When you listen to this, it doesn't have to be that you're getting a divorce, turning upside down, travel the world for the next year, or doing whatever it is you do.
Right.
It could be as simply as you're saying, I always wanted to start knitting.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and as simple as it sounds, to
Yeah.
realize that need can be harder than we think.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's true. Wow. What do you find women resisting, I want to say midlife, like, because they're getting older, what are some common themes you are finding in women that are getting older? Are they resisting? Are they resilient? Are they settling? Or what's happening with them?
It's a whole bowl of wax, right? All of it.
Okay.
But I think a lot of us we are afraid
Mm.
when we address something new and unfamiliar. And how dare we want something for ourselves? And
Yeah.
how dare we carving time away from everybody else, taken away from our caregiving duties
Yes.
that somebody said we should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel guilty. I think fear and guilt and shame to me are the three things
Mm.
that I find so many women struggle with, and that we're not worthy of any of the things we desire.
Mm. Interesting. Guilt and shame. Mm.
And
Do
fear,
you,
yeah.
yeah, and fear. Do you think regret is part of that for some women? Like they think they perhaps should have done this. Now they're at this age and shame on me, or like,
I don't hear that as often.
okay,
The
okay,
regrets doesn't seem to be as loud as all the others.
okay, okay. Now, I want to get to your book, and I've seen some testimonies that individuals says, yeah, the pursue your spark, right? And you also said you wrote another book before about midlife. Oh, was
No.
that okay? Okay, because I heard you said something about midlife book or something. Okay. Um, okay, so we talked a little bit about identity shifts. Like you said, when you get 40, I'm thinking this, 50. Um, and I've also heard testimonies about individuals that read your book. Show that book again.
Show my beautiful
Show
orange
that
book.
book. That's beautiful. That's my color. Pursue your spark.
Spark.
Yeah, what is it in that book where, and then you have a framework for, but I've seen, read about testimonies how people said the book changed them.
Mhm.
What, tell us about that book. Like, what is it about that book that's so dynamic?
It is written simply. It's not complicated
Mm-hmm.
to read, and you can read it top to bottom or front to back, actually in a book, front to back.
Uh-huh.
And or you say, let me just look into the different chapters.
Mm-hmm.
What is it I'm most curious about right now? And
Mm-hmm.
one of the stories in that happened during my book launch was, and that's not in the book because it happened at the book launch. One
Uh-huh.
of the people that came to my book launch said, "So, Heike, how will your book help me? I just lost my job and I don't seem to be able to find a job."
Oh.
And I said, "Well, I cannot help you find a job, but here's what I can do. Look at under the R in the spark. This is the roadblocks. Read through the roadblocks, see what you can take away from the roadblocks as it applies to you. Is it
Mm-hmm.
that you're not stepping up strong enough in an interview, that you're timid, or you step up too strong? Are you articulate? What do you really want when you're looking for a job? Are you looking everywhere, or can you be more specific about what it is you're looking for?
Okay.
What is it?
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with rejection? I said, look under the R for roadblock. And it's not how to find yourself a job, but it's the mindset strategies that come along with this. And I
Mm-hmm.
find the people that have used the book so far have found that it is not a fitness nutrition book. It is supported by fitness and nutrition strategies. We have 6 worksheets in the book that are
Mm-hmm.
supplemental to what it is you might need, where you
Right.
might be stuck with your nutrition. But
That's
overall, it really is a book to help you think about what it is,
mm-hmm.
where you are,
Mm-hmm.
find your curiosity, set boundaries with yourself and others,
Mm-hmm.
and then pursue your dreams. Go
Mm.
for what it is that you really want, and
Mm-hmm.
really creating more clarity along the way.
That's
And you
good.
can always go back and say, you know what? I read the roadblock, but now I need an inspiration. I need an S from Heike. What is she
Uh,
doing when I need inspiration? Well, the
mm-hmm.
S I call the scan. You're
Mm.
scanning your environment. You're scanning what you want, where you are, what you do, what you would like to do,
Mm-hmm.
to figure out where's your next spark coming from.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. That's good. I like that. I like that. So is the framework the acronym SPARK?
Yep.
Okay. So what does it stand for? SPA. I know about the roadblock and the
The S
inspiration. What about the other
the
alphabets?
the S starts with the scanning, or oftentimes
Oh,
in our industry we call it the why. And when you tell your clients to think about their why, they're already rolling their eyes.
right. That's true. That's right.
I'm like, oh my God. So we're scanning in Heike's world. We're scanning
Mm-hmm.
where we are, what we want, what we
Mm-hmm.
have, what we need, what we don't have. And then
Mm-hmm.
the P is we plan. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever the choice, whatever you have scanned, and let's use a running as an example. You want to run.
Mm-hmm.
You see people running and you think that's really cool. But
Right.
so far, all you've been air quotes walking, as I get friends. I'm just walking, hiking. I'm like, great.
Uh-huh.
But you want a little more. So you would scan, number one, are my knees good enough? Is my back holding up? Do I have shoes? Where would I run? How far would I run? What would it look like if I'd actually start running? Am I looking to run long distance, or do I want to start with maybe a 3 miler or a 5K?
Mm-hmm.
What really lights me up right now? And then you go for the P. You plan. You said, all right,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have shoes. I need to go buy shoes.
Right.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go to a reputable running store and get some shoes. I don't have
Okay.
any clothes. Okay, order some
Mhm.
from wherever you order your clothes.
Mhm.
I don't know how to run. Okay, maybe I join a running club because they all show you how to do that.
Mhm.
And then once you have all these bits and pieces, or even just one bit of the piece in place, then you
Right.
take action, which is the A. You
Mhm.
take action and see what happens.
Mhm.
Is my
Mhm.
goal realistic? Is running at 5 in the morning something that I will continue to do? Or did I just think about this would be great? But then I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm not.
Right. Right.
Which would be a roadblock?
Mhm.
This is your first, I'm not going to keep doing this because 5 a.m. is not working for me.
Right.
So then you figure out your roadblocks. Oh, the shoe may not fit well. You need
Right.
another pair of shoes.
Right.
Then you go back to, where are we? The roadblock, the R. So we're looking at it again and we're thinking, okay, so we're another action step. So now we overcame that roadblock, and
Mhm.
now we're taking the next action step and
Mhm.
see if this is what aligns more with our original goal. And
Mhm.
then the K is for keeping momentum,
Mhm.
where you say, okay, I got all the pieces of the spark together and
Mhm.
I'm going. And as you're going, you may say, "Oh, I really don't like running." You go
Yeah.
back to the S
Yeah.
and say,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather do hiking.
Yeah.
Let's regroup. And it's so
Uh-huh.
beautiful because you can go every step, you can go back and say, that didn't work really well for me. Let's rework this. And it's
Mhm.
not, what I like to say, it's not a do-over.
Yeah.
It's becoming more clear about what it is that you want, that you were
Yeah.
dreaming of, and what the reality is of those goals and aspirations.
Oh, right. That's great. The scan, the plan, the action roadblocks, and keep the momentum. Was there a chapter that was challenging for you when you were writing?
The most challenging, it's funny that you ask that. I just had a call with my editor last week, and they
Mhm.
asked me similar questions about the book. The
Uh-huh.
hardest part was to write the personal stories,
Mhm.
to let go of the stories that I didn't necessarily want to share with everybody.
Mhm.
That I was like, do I have to write about this? And there was one story that did not make the book, which they were laughing. I said, the boyfriend did not make this book. He was the guy who broke my heart in between
Oh,
my marriages.
uh-huh.
And we all agreed, no,
No.
he has no life in this book. He is not contributing to anything.
Okay, good. Okay.
We, but everything else, like how I got there. And it also makes you rethink about the steps that you're taking or have taken, and the hardships you endured and the joys that came along the way, and really being open like an
Mhm.
onion where you peel back the layers, and then
Right.
you keep really the most impactful stories. And some I had to gnaw on it. I really did.
Hmm. Hmm. But I bet you found, I remember with my book, it was like healing for me.
Yes.
And there were times I think I was in my way because of my personal stories. I did not want
Mm.
to tell them, but yet I had to get out of my way in order to be more effective in helping people get out of their way. So I get it. Congratulations to you, because I know how it is when you're writing a book and when it's published and launching, and I know all of that.
So exhausting and exhilarating at the same time, isn't it?
Ooh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. You learn a lot, and you go another level in your growth, I would say. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I know we're down to time, but you have a free guide that provides simple shifts to help people. Tell us a little bit about that guide.
It's the midlife reset.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really three simple steps that you can start today. If you feel you are so stuck, you have no clue what to do, where to go, what to read, or who to talk to, grab this little easy guide. And there's a little bit of nutrition, a little bit of fitness, and a little bit of mindset that you can say, oh, where am I stuck? What works for me right now? And so this addresses my three areas that I talk about. And
Uh-huh.
then just give it a whirl, because there's ideas of what you can do, and they are truly simple.
Okay. We like simple.
I like
Uh-huh.
simple baby
Uh-huh.
steps. That's my thing.
Right. Right. It's kind of like you're not stuck, but you're just out of alignment, right?
Yep.
And what does
Yep.
that mean? Being out of
And
alignment.
when you think about the things you want, do the things that you want or aspire to are the things that you want, or somebody else, your
Mm-hmm.
spouse, your family, your neighbor, whoever else? What is
Mm-hmm.
it that aligns the best with you at this moment in life? And that's why I think every 10 years there's a shift where we do a realignment
Mm-hmm.
of what we really want.
Mm.
And I
That's
feel that's super important to honor that shift, to
yeah.
honor that realignment. And it's not, and I used the word once today, it's not a reinvention. Because I don't believe in reinventions. We don't need to reinvent ourselves.
Reinvent. Right.
We're good the way we are.
Yes.
But we need
Yeah.
to realign. And when, a good example is exercise. If you're with somebody that used to do kickboxing,
Yeah.
and at this point in life, number one, it bores you, it's too hard, it zaps your energy. You need to
Right.
realign where
Okay.
your fitness and your energy comes from.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Um, one other question. True self. We've all been through many things in our lives. When people say, it's kind of like in my book, I said, it's a guide for help you to be your true self. What does that mean to you, your true self?
To be honest with yourself, I don't
Mhm.
believe in the term authentic.
Uh-huh.
Everybody wants to be authentic, whatever that means. And I think it's just the way that I don't like the word.
Okay.
Um, I feel that true to yourself, to your beliefs,
Mhm.
and to what you pressure, not pressure, what's the word I'm looking for? That you feel strongest about it.
Okay.
That that's where you have your strongest commitment to.
Okay.
What is it that you feel strongly about that you will not others let trample on you?
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because that question is that term is tossed around a lot.
Yeah.
Be your true self. What is that? So I was curious to what you meant by that. And I like to say, one of the aspects of living your best life is embracing the journey. It's kind of like you're doing with your clients. Just recognize this is a continuous process. It's a process of growth. It's not just a destination.
Mm-hmm.
So by what you're doing, and you won't have everything figured out, period. Right? So I love it how you've embraced your journey and you're still continuing to embrace your journey, and you've been on a journey, and you are contributing a lot to the world, to individuals, and I applaud you for that, because that is right on. That gives you meaning, gives you a reason why, you know what, hey, because I'm going to help somebody else out. I'm going to, because at one time you were coaching, and maybe
Yeah.
you still do one-on-one coaching, I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
as we wrap up, is there anything you like to share with my individuals audience that's their way is in their way? And
I would say all you need is already inside of you.
Mhm,
Get out of your way.
mhm. Okay, perfect. How can my audience get in touch with you?
You can find me pretty much on all social media with my first and
Mhm,
last name, Heike
mhm.
Yates,
Okay,
Heike
okay.
Yates. Or you
Mhm,
can find my book, Pursue Your Spark, in all major retailers,
okay.
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. There's a link on my website where you have different distributors where you can find my book in soft cover, in
Mm,
ebook, and also as an audiobook.
okay. And did you narrate your book?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
have
That's
I
that's
have
daunting.
the beautiful Caroline do that for me. She did an amazing job.
Oh, great, great. Well, Aki, this will end our podcast. I want to thank you. It was a pleasure um, to speak with you and for you to be one of my guests. Um, as for individuals that will see the MP4 version, I'm going to do two: the video and the MP3, just the talking. So the MP4, yeah, you'll see again, the sun is in my face, and now it's time for me to close and everything. But yet, that does not negate the message that we received today. So again, Heike, thank you so much. And I look forward to us staying in touch since we live close by.
I know, right?
And well done. And as I say to my audience, thank you. If you find this podcast to be of value, which you will, please share it with somebody that you know that this will be a blessing. Again, Yankee, thank you. God bless my audience. God bless you too. As I always say, bye for now. Thanks again.
Your sizzle reel is great.
What's that?
Your sizzle reel is great.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. This is crazy. This sun, I tell you, I try to do things um, before the sun comes out. It's weird. Now, if it's not a sunny day, I'm good, but it is sunny today, boy, I tell you. But it was a joy. I can't wait. I'm gonna get your book.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
yeah, I'd like to read your book. I love the way you've done it. How I love your framework. And also, I've created a framework for my business that I've launched. So that makes things so easy when you have acronyms and you can put things to it. And are
Yep.
you writing another book soon?
That's what my auditor wants me to do. My editor. I'm like, no, I'm not ready yet. I was like,
Really?
no, I need to take a break. I need to take a creative break and do something else, and then I'll think about it. But it was a
Okay.
lot of fun to write it, although a lot of work, as you know.
Yeah, yeah. Who was your publisher?
Reaching and Rooted. It's a woman-owned
Okay.
business that
Uh-huh.
actually they approached me on Instagram, and I think they reached out to a whole bunch of people that are in
Uh-huh.
the mind body. They're doing some business, but also a lot of mind body books.
Yeah,
And we had a
yeah.
conversation, and as it turned out, they had the narrators. I didn't know it was part of the deal, and they
Wow.
said, we have a couple of people that can read your book, and I talked to Caroline. She was the initial editor of the book, and though I'd met her, I had met her, I'd heard her, and I compared her. Then she read one chapter to other people that other of my friends that had written books. And my
Mhm.
husband said it's the perfect person to read the book. It's mature, it's
Mhm.
clear, and I mean, I do have an accent, and people said, "Oh, it'd be great if you read it yourself," but I like it to be clear and crisp, and she had
Yeah.
good pacing. She had I mean, she's a professional, so
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Where are you originally from?
Germany.
Oh, okay. I knew it was something. And when you said I moved to the States, but I'm like, okay, I won't ask that on air. But wow. Well, again, thank you. I don't want to use any more of your time.
Thank
And
you,
I will
Cassandra.
definitely let you know when this goes. I've recorded it and it's going to go live. I have to do my little editing. And right now, it's going to go live the 1st of May. And I apologize. That's why I said I stopped doing podcasts because I need to
So
catch up.
it's so much work. I know. It's like, oh, it's not just done. You do the recording, there's the editing and the bit and the
I
graphics and the.
know, I know, I
But
know.
I
I
appreciate that
tell you,
you having me
people
on
like
your
you is
show.
worth it. Yeah.
I know. I
And thanks for
appreciate
reaching
you.
out. Sure.
Thank you,
Oh,
neighbor.
okay. All righty. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay. Mm, mm, mm. Studio. You may not be saying. Please stay and say something. And recording.